Async Await, a modern and simple way to manage tasks that take time to finish, like fetching data from the internet or reading a file. It was introduced in ES 2017 to make code easier to read and understand. Before Async Await, developers often used .then function chains with promises or callbacks. These could get messy and hard to follow, especially when many tasks depended on each other. This problem was nicknamed callback hell because the code would end up with lots of nested levels, making it look cluttered and confusing. To demonstrate how Async Await works, let's say we want to fetch user data from an API, like the user's name and then their favorite food. Without Async Await, it might look like this. This code gets a user's info, prints their name, then gets and prints their favorite food. And if something goes wrong, it shows an error message. All step-by-step using .then promises. This works, but look how it's chaining .then functions. If we add more steps, like fetching the user's friends or address, it gets even messier, like a tangled ball of yarn. Now let's use Async Await to do the same thing. First, let's make a function called getUserInfo to hold our code. To make our function asynchronous, we add the async keyword. Now, let's get a user from an API, for example. The JSON placeholder API. We'll use the fetch function to grab data from JSON placeholder user's route. And let's store the data we get in a constant called response. We mentioned earlier that Async Await is a modern and simple way to manage tasks that take time to finish. For example, here we can see that the fetch function needs time to get the data from the API, right? So we'll use the await keyword. This tells JavaScript, wait for this to finish before moving on. But wait, fetch just gives us a response object, not the actual data yet. To get the user info, we need to turn it into JSON using the JSON function from JavaScript. That takes time too, so we use await again and store it in a constant called user. Now that we have the user data, let's print their name. The API gives us a name field, so we can use user.name. But what if something goes wrong, like the internet is down? We don't want our code to crash. To solve this, we use the try-catch block statement. For example, here we use a try block to run the code that might raise an error, such as fetching data from the API or processing it. If we do find an error, let's use the catch block to aka catch the error and log it to the console, printing a friendly message along with the error details so we know exactly what happened. When you run this, it'll fetch the user and print something like, user's name is Leanne Graham. If there's a problem, it'll say oops instead. This is Async Await in action, waiting for data, but only where you tell it to wait, keeping things simple and clean without .then promises. Now, speaking of promises, KeysFan, the sponsor of this video, promises safe and genuine software keys. Whether you're looking to unlock the full potential of your favorite operating system, productivity tools, or even gaming software, KeysFan has you covered with a wide selection of authentic licenses. Head over to their website at keysfan.com to explore their offerings. From Windows and Microsoft Office keys to other essential software, all delivered instantly and securely. With competitive prices and a strong commitment to customer satisfaction, KeysFan makes it easy to get the software you need without any hassle. Check them out today and see how they deliver on their promise of reliability and value. Link in the description. Now, with Async Await, we can also run processes in parallel to save time and improve performance. Instead of waiting for one task to finish before starting the next, we can start multiple tasks at the same time. This, in turn, results in faster execution time, because tasks that don't depend on each other can run simultaneously. You only wait for the longest one, not each of them one by one. Here we have an async function called fetchData, which fetches the user and posts data. This typically works very well since we're using await to ensure all of it is asynchronous. But what if we want it to run in parallel? Right now, the function waits for the first fetch to finish before starting the second one. That means if each fetch takes 1 second, the total time is around 2 seconds. To make it faster, we can start both fetches at the same time and then wait for them together using promise.all. Promise.all is a built-in JavaScript method that allows you to execute multiple promises in parallel and wait for all of them to resolve or for one to fail. It takes an array of promises as an argument and returns a single promise that resolves when all of the input promises resolve. Inside of the array, let's put the user promise and the post promise to fetch at the same time. Then, let's directly access the data by destructuring it further. Now, if we run this, we can see the user data and post data printed to the console once both requests have completed. In conclusion, async and await are typically used in situations where you need to handle asynchronous operations, such as fetching data from APIs, reading or writing files, handling promises in sequential order, and parallel execution of asynchronous operations. With that said, I know we covered a lot of topics today, which is why we created a PDF version of this video. It's free for all our Kofi members, so make sure to check that out. This is just one of the topics we're covering for ES6 JavaScript. We'll still be making videos with full in-depth guides for the spread operator and other topics, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Well, that's it for now, Novas. Thank you for watching.